My name's Steve Guzzo. I'd like to give a brief history of Modest Bluff and where it originated to where we're at now. Actually, it originated back in the 70s when I came home from Vietnam in 1968. At that time, the American Legion and the VFW, they didn't consider Vietnam as a war. They considered a police action, and therefore they weren't letting Vietnam veterans join the Legion or VFW. So at that time there was a lot of Vietnam veterans here that served from Greenlee County. In Look magazine, they had an article that stated that Greenlee County at that time, which was 68, had more people in Vietnam from Greenlee County than any other county in the United States. That's per capita. So, but there was a large percentage of the population that served in Vietnam from here. So at that time in 68, after the American Legion and VFW didn't allow us to join the club, and they didn't actually. That wasn't possible till about 1980, somewhere around there, 79, 80, and then they I guess they decided that it was a war, so then they allowed the Vietnam vet to join. But in 1975 or 76, of course, from 68 to the 75, there was hundreds of, well, there was a lot of people from Greenlee County that had already served. So we all wanted to get together. Since we couldn't go to any of those organizations, we established our own, and we called it In-Country Vietnam Veterans. And at that time it was exclusive for people that were in country, in Vietnam, and a combat veteran. That's were the qualifications of this club. So at that time there was probably pretty close to 60 from Greenlee County that we met in different places. During those times, you didn't tell anybody you were a veteran as far as the populace, because it was a very unpopular war. The veteran was stereotyped as either a drug addict, a crazed killer, especially because of the My Lai massacre. It was a story that came out that much publicized. It kind of stereotyped the Vietnam vet as being crazy and just going around killing women and children. So America looked down on the Vietnam vet. So we formed that club in around 1975. We were still in contact with each other during this whole time from the 60s to then, and meeting in different places. But it wasn't until around 75 that we actually became a organized club. And at that time, we were doing, our main purpose at that time was to change the image of the Vietnam vet. By doing good and showing America, or showing especially our community, that we were capable of doing good things, and that we weren't as they stereotyped us. So we formed the band and the club, and we were doing a lot of things for the community. We would do swap meets, which we would do at the American Legion post. We were doing on the outside and other places. We would do fishing derbies and invite the public. We had all kinds of different kinds of events that we would do for the community, or involve the community in. 10K runs, all kinds of different stuff like that. We'd have bake sales, and then we started, as we started growing, we started putting out or giving the schools scholarship. At that time, during the 70s, we were giving $500 each school. 500 to Clifton, 500 to Morenci, and 500 to Duncan. The money, we would have different events to like hamburger sales and dinner sales, to where we'd pick up the money to do all this. We'd to do the functions that we had to do, or to obtain the money for scholarships. At that time, the Brothers of Vietnam Club, the founders were Oscar Urea, Mike Guzzo, and at that time it was Sarge Camacho. That was the president, vice president, and secretary. So it went on like that for a while into the 80s, and people in the community seen the good that we were trying to do, and so a lot of people wanted to join. So we changed the name of the club to Los Hermanos de Vietnam, the Brothers of Vietnam Club. That way we could allow supporters to come in, besides military personnel. And so that went on for a time. We picked up a lot of members during that time, and this went on like this for years, all the way up to we're still giving scholarships and doing things for the community. So this went on like this till about let me see, I think it was in May of '99, we erected a flagpole on top of Clifton Peak. What we did is we went around the back, because Jimmy Viescas hadn't ever been up there all his life, which was unusual. So we decided to take the pole up, put up a flag, and erect it up on top. So we went up the back side of Lemon Squeezer, which Jimmy had never been up through there. We went up the back side of Clifton Peak, and we erected a flagpole on top. We took a little cement, water, and chains, and whatever we thought we were going to need, and we put that up there. So, and that was John Decker. John Decker was up there, Mike Guzzo, Jimmy Viescas, Tim Guzzo, Julio Rodriguez. There was, at that time, the Quicks, the brother Quicks, John and Stephen. And at that time, they were about 10 years old. And Palmer Webb, Dada Size, David Alva. So we all went up there and just did it. We did it just because to do something, and so anyway, about we erected that, and I believe it's still up, that flag. About a couple of months after that, I had a dream or a vision. It was more of a dream. And in this dream, I visualized myself in front of the bluff as it is now, and I could see down, maybe 100, 200 yards down, and I could see the flags, and I heard a voice, and this voice told me, Steve, I want you to build this. This is for a healing, and this shall be known throughout the United States and throughout the world. Well, all I could see, and he told me, I want you to put these flags here, and in back of that, I want you to put a box, and in that box, put my word, for I am the center of this nation. And then I was taken up, further up, and I could see everything. And then I woke up. So I said, wow, that was a crazy dream. You know, that was a crazy dream. But you know what, man, that's a good, to me, I said, man, that's weird. So I confronted the rest of the club members. At that time, there was about 40 some. And I shared my dream with them. I said, hey, man, check this out, man. I had this dream. And I told them about the dream. And they looked at me and they said, well, of course I was going to say, they think I'm nuts. I said, no big problem. They think I'm nuts anyway, so what the heck. Anyway, everybody liked the idea. They liked the dream. I said, that's a good dream. I said, let's build it. Let's do it. Let's put something up there. So they told me, whatever you need, let us know, man. We'll get everything you need to erect it, to make it the way you've seen it in your dream. So I got donations from everybody, piping and chains and water. And in December 12, 1999, I seen how in my vision what it was going to look like. And I did go up there and I took measurements, you know, more or less. And so I erected it the way I thought it should be erected, the way I seen it in my dream. So in December 12, 1999, at the direction of our commander, David Alva, at that time, I think at that, let me see, Larry Avila, he was there, John Decker, and other people from the community, several people from the community that they were, we had the EMTs there at the bottom, and we started climbing up the mountain. The American flagpole, which was 25 feet long, was carried by a Vietnam War protester. And he was the health inspector, Ivan Lohr. So several people carried cement, they carried water, they carried pipe, they carried chains to erect it. And there was on hand, there was Rick Nations, the pastor, Rick Nations, and the club chaplain then was Rudy Campos. So we went to the top and we started putting it together, and it didn't look like the way I had envisioned it in my dream. In my dream it was straight across. And we took all the piping and stuff that we needed for the to put it up, and it came out in a V, more or less. And that really bothered me because that's not the way I seen it in my dream. But it was the only way that it was possible for it to be put up. So we went ahead and put it up. We had a ceremony. There were several people up there. There had to be at least 50 from all over the county. The sheriff, the sheriff of Greeley County. I mean, there were several people that were up there. So we came back down. When I came back down, we came to the foxhole. The foxhole was where we met the brothers of Vietnam met at that time, which was at Mott's Cafe. When I got down there, I looked up. I couldn't, when coming down, I was really, to be truthful, I was bummed out. Because I say, man, all this dream I had, man, was nothing but a figment of my imagination, you know. Because in the dream, it told me this, I want you to build this for a healing. It'll be a healing for people. So, when I got to the bottom, I couldn't look up until I got to the bottom of Mott's, where I was at Mott's. And when I looked up, it was exactly as I had seen it in the vision. The flags were straight across. And they're not straight across. They're in a V. It's an optical illusion. It's the way the mountain sits that it looks straight. I could have never known that. You know, that's so that the vision came true. But now the problem was after we had it, it was blessed by two chaplains. Rick Nation, the pastor, and Rudy, our chaplain. We installed the first dog tags were the Morenci 9. Since we were the Brothers of Vietnam Club, we thought we would honor them first. Since most of us knew them personally, all personally. So the first dog tags we put up there were theirs, the Morenci 9. And then we started with us. And come to find out later, doing research, that there was not only 9 people that were killed in Vietnam, but there was 13. Actually, there was 12. And one of them was a POW MIA. POW, prisoner of war, MIA, missing in action. He was abducted Christmas Day, 1965, Ruben Bailon. And to date, he is still missing. To date, there is no history of him. So, anyway, our next thing was, okay, Lord, you, or whoever's out there, whoever gave me this vision, you said it's to be for a healing. How are we going to do this now? You know. So, Mike Guzzo come up with the idea of hanging dog tags up there. So this is where we put first the Morenci 9. And he said this will be for a healing, and where anybody goes up there, they see a dog tag, it'll bring them some kind of joy, some kind of healing. So to date, there's over 2,000 dog tags up there of veterans from all wars, from all conflicts, from all branches of service, living and deceased. Anyone that was in the military service qualifies to put their dog tag up there. And we do is we make replicas, which are exactly the ones like the original, stainless steel. We hand stamp them and put them up there. For a small price, of course. And we have installations to where if people, they can attend, and we'll have a ceremony, and we install the dog tags. As of now, there's 16 installations, 16 different installations over the years, which has been there almost 23 years. So that solved the problem of how we were going to honor him. Now, that was Mike Guzzo's idea. The next, okay, how are we going to do this besides that? And Jimmy Viescas came up with the idea, why don't we do it like the Stations of the Cross? Put different wars that we honor, we're going to honor, not the war, but the people that were in the wars. Those are the ones that we're honoring, not the war itself. We're not here to glorify war. We're here to pay tribute to the veterans that fought them wars. So Jamie came up with that idea. I said, that's a good idea. We'll start with World War I, go to World War II, Korea, Vietnam. At that time it was only Vietnam. And so we were gonna, what we decided to do is to honor all these people, would honor, of course, the people that served during the wars, and which would honor the KIA, killed in action, from each war. In World War I, so we put their names on a plaque, and put that plaque in different areas. World War I, World War II. World War I had 9 people from Greeley County that were killed. World War II, 50 names, 50 people. Korea, 6. Vietnam, at that time we thought there was only 9. As we researched more, we found out there was 13. And then later on, of course, Desert Storm, Desert Shield came up, so we put a section for them. And then we put another section closer to the flag site on Iraq and Afghanistan, you know. And in Operation Enduring Freedom. So we had in deserts, there was Desert Storm and Desert Shield. It started off Desert Storm, and then it ended Desert Shield. And then Iraq and Afghanistan. And at the ceremonies, there was a lot of people that, I mean, there was, we had several people. We had people from Sacaton, from the Ira Hayes Post. People came in from California, and you know, when we erected it. But anyway, since then, there's been hundreds and hundreds of people that have visited Midas Bluff. We hear that bell ring. There's a bell up there, which also was an idea of Mike Guzzo. The bell that is up there is a bell that was in a school in Verdun for over 100 years. And we obtained it, or my mother personally obtained it. So, and it sat on the Rusty Saloon by Mott's Cafe for years. So we decided to take that bell and put it on top and call it the Freedom Bell. And we put on it, ring the bell for freedom. So every time we'd have an installation or of dog tags, we'd ring the bell after each name. After each name, that bell was rang. And people to date, they still go up and they ring the bell. And that was taken to the airport, in Clifton Airport. And from there, the Morenci emergency helicopter dropped it off at the top of Midas Bluff. And I can't think of his name. Jackson, come on. Guy. Huh?
Oh, Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Frank Johnson?
Frank Johnson, by himself, took the bell all the way down from there. Incredible. Because it weighs over 200 pounds. And that's rough terrain. So a lot of people over the years have helped support the club in different ways. We still give back to the community by making burgers. We use that money. We give away money during Christmas. Before the pandemic, we gave away $800 turkeys and all the stuffings during Christmas, and we give those to to who we think, are people in need in the community. And we do other things, like we gave one person a cooler, and other stuff like that. Whenever we see somebody in need, that's what we use that money for, to give back. All the most of the plaques or the monuments in Veterans Park were donated by us. We built them, we bought the plaques on them, and this was all done by hamburger money. Yeah. So
Freedom Burgers.
yeah, Freedom Burgers. There you go. And so, we were still giving away $1,500 scholarship, $1,500 to Morenci, $1,500 to Duncan. And this is, we are a nonprofit organization. We became nonprofit, and we changed the name again. In 2000, I believe it was 11 or 12. And at that time we called it, we were incorporated, and so we called it Modest Bluff Veterans Memorial Incorporated, honoring, calling it Modest Bluff because of the person that had donated the piece of land for us to start doing that on, which was Walter Modest. So from then, we still doing. We erected a flagpole at the Words Canyon Cemetery. We put a ramada at the park. We put a ramada at the base of the bluff of America's Long Walk for Freedom, and we put a sign, which it costs us about $6,000 in total when we make all the costs. And this is all done through burger sales, and so and like I say, we're a nonprofit organization. At this time, our membership is low. A lot of the original members have passed on. But our intentions right now are which we planned on years ago, is to put a helicopter atop in the Vietnam section of the memorial. The memorial isn't on top where the flags are. The whole mountain is the memorial, because it memorializes first at the bottom, World War I, goes to World War II, and then to Korea, and then to Vietnam, then there's Storm Desert Shield, and then Iraq and Afghanistan, and it goes into the flag site. The flag site is where all the flags are hung. It's where the dog tags are hung on the cable between the poles. So in reality, the whole mountain is the memorial. And so our intentions are to put a helicopter, UH-1 helicopter, Huey, in the Vietnam section. That's what we're shooting for now. And we'll continue honoring our veterans, whatever veterans come up from all wars, all conflicts. And hopefully, I pray to God that there won't be another war. But if there is, we'll honor all our veterans. And just to be clear with you, the memorial, even though we own land, we've owned 4 acres as far as the Modest Bluff Veterans Memorial. I sincerely believe that we are merely the caretakers, Modest Bluff Veterans Incorporated. The memorial itself belongs to the people. Okay, as of right now, we have the Army flag, the Navy flag, the Air Force flag, the Marine flag, the space flag is Space Academy flag, which is the newest one. The POW flag, prisoner of war, MIA, and the state flag, the Arizona state flag. Those are on 10-foot poles behind the American flag, which is 25-foot pole. And all of the flags are a 3x5 flags. So, and behind, and in back of the flags, there's a box. And in that box, like I say, in the vision, it says, I want you to put my word. So we put a Holy Bible in there, the King James Version. We're not there to promote any religion or any belief. We just put the Word of God. What you believe is entirely up to you. What you take from the Bible is entirely up to you. But we're not there to promote any religion. It's just the Word of God. And we also have a box there that has a ledger where you can sign your name on it. Our plans at the bottom are to put some billboards there so we can put information such as, the oldest person to go up America's Long Walk for Freedom is Ismael Ortega. He was 86 the last time he would go up there, that he went up there. He'd go up there continually over the year, especially during Memorial Day and Veterans Day. He would take a wreath that he himself would make and take it up there to honor his Korean comrades. But our intention, like I say now, is to keep building onto it. And our purpose is to educate people about the Vietnam War. And not only the Vietnam War, but all the wars. And our plans are to build other things on this property, the property that Freeport has given us, which is 4.5 square acres.